Hello and welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we will continue our discussion related to press freedom. So, in this video, so far we have learned about why the things are running in news because press restrictions has been imposed and the chief editor of NewsClick channel, he has been arrested. So, we were reading about fake news, about media trials, about paid news in the previous videos. Now coming to the next part of it, that is related to gag orders. Gag order is actually a restrictive order imposed by legal authorities, by lawmaking. Let's say it can be a government executive order under which it can restrict that media is not allowed to furnish any information related to this particular issue. Usually, gag order is imposed in order to reduce or not allow occurrence of any kind of chaos. Okay, so let's say there is some kind of riot and it is leading to sudden spreading of fake news. So, government can impose a gag order. Media is not allowed to furnish any information. All the information will be communicated by the government itself. Okay. So that is a gag order. Now gag order has been misused. The original intention of keeping a gag order is this, to not allow occurrence of any kind of havoc or public chaos. Okay. The legal backing of gag order comes from Criminal Procedure Code, CRPC, and the section is 144. So under section 144 of CRPC, government has the legal authority of issuing gag order. By making use of gag order, government have often misused certain things. Let's say we had some problems going on in Joshimath. So the land was about to sink or has been sinking to a great extent, and ISRO came up with the information that in past 12 days, Joshimath, the land of Joshimath has sunken by 4 centimeters. Okay, so in past 12 days, the land has subsided or sunken by 4 centimeters. That was the observation coming from ISRO, and government has put up a gag order that no, any information related to Uttarakhand land sinking or land subsidence or Joshimath land subsidence is not allowed. This information cannot be furnished or cannot be published by media. Okay. So, gag order is basically a legal order to restrict the publication of an information. This is also considered as a form of digital authoritarianism. Digital authoritarianism, because in digital world usually gag order these days is applied thinking ki you are not allowed to furnish any kind of digital information related to this. And this authoritarianism is referred to what government is executing. Okay. Now coming to the challenges related to press freedom. The challenges related to press freedom can be subcategorized into several forms. The first point can be attack against journalists. So, direct facing violence, physical assault, harassment, killing, or coloring their faces with black. These are some of the violent activities journalists are facing because they are publishing any or taking any anti-government stance. Okay, so that is a major challenge to journalism or ethical journalism. Okay, the second problem is related to legal challenges. Legal challenges can be gag orders. So by issuing a gag order, government is restricting the freedom of speech and expression of press, or also through Official Secrets Act or through UAPA. So, let's say any editor or journalist has published or furnished some information on Hathras case. Hathras was a rape case from UP. So, if media house or journalist is publishing any information, then on that journalist, government has imposed UAPA. This is a form of legal challenge or legal restrictions faced by journalist. Okay, or under Official Secrets Act, government can say no, I will not be furnishing information of whatever you are seeking because it will hamper the unity and integrity of the country. So under Official Secrets Act, government has the authority of not furnishing certain amount of information. Okay. Now the challenges to press freedom also includes political pressure and censorship. So let's say a media house or a media channel is presenting certain information, so they may face censorship. Okay, or as we have read earlier, it can face, because of political pressure or because of financial constraints, it may resort to either paid news or fake news or media trials. Okay, so framing of news items or biasness, okay, on these charges also press freedom can be restricted. So they can be asked to rephrase the news such that they speak in favor of the government. Or that is what was faced by Kerala's Madhyamam Broadcasting Limited. They faced censorship because they were furnishing certain information, or rather taking an extreme left stand. Okay. Now, challenges to press freedom can also be financial pressure. So, wherever they seek funding from, okay, it can come under ED's control, that is Enforcement Directorate, or can be checked under FEMA, that is Foreign Exchange Management Authority. So, any kind of financial restrictions can be faced by a media house which is taking a anti-government stance. Okay, so these are the financial pressures. Or if they do not resort to, if they are speaking in favor of government, then the government may fund them. Okay, so these can be some of the possible challenges. Now, what can be the solution? The common solutions for previous problems of fake news, of paid news, of media trials, we have learned that responsible journalism can be a major solution. Or ethical journalism. Journalists should themselves understand that whatever task they are doing, that is basically to inform the public. So it is imperative for them to be transparent of whatever information they are getting. Okay, and not misusing this kind of information. Plus, to tackle fake news, we need education, especially digital education. We must inform or teach our masses that whatever WhatsApp is providing information, that may or may not be an correct news. Okay, or by protecting whistleblowers. Let's say there is a whistleblower who has come up against his own company. This media house is getting funding from such and such government, and that is why all its publications, information and broadcasting will be in favor of the government. Okay, or even opposition party also. So if a whistleblower comes up with this information, we must have a right or legal backing to protect these whistleblowers. Okay. Or adherence to media ethics, as we discussed, responsible journalism or ethical journalism, and strengthen legal protections. Okay, so whatever legal protections we have for transparent media houses, let's say PCI, okay, Press Council of India is having a statutory backing. It is seeking some kind of support for itself to be strengthened, or PCI recommending Election Commission of India to be strengthened. So, okay, so these kind of legal measures should be followed. Okay, and Supreme Court in a full 7-judge or 9-judge bench should define what do we mean by free speech. What are the limitations of free speech? What can media say and what it should not be allowed to say? So, Supreme Court in its full judge bench should define what do we mean by free speech, and in specific context related to media. Okay. Plus, it should also set a limit for free speech. So, these can be some of the way forwards. Now, coming to some of the factual part from which we can expect questions coming in prelims is about Enforcement Directorate. Okay. So, about Enforcement Directorate, it's basically an economic intelligence agency. Okay, it is the agency which is working in economic sector. So, any kind of fraudulent transactions will be monitored by ED. Any kind of transactions which is not legal, or a conversion from black to white to black money, all these will be monitored by ED. Okay, this comes under Ministry of Finance, and within Ministry of Finance, initially it was coming under Economic Affairs, now has been transferred to Revenue. Okay, now my question is, do you know the difference between task of Department of Economic Affairs and versus Department of Revenue? If you know, please let us know in the comment box. Also, FEMA must, under this FEMA, under Foreign Exchange Management Authority, Enforcement Directorate has the power to impose penalty 3 times of whatever FEMA says. Okay. Under PMLA, its power under Prevention of Money Laundering Act is to attach and seize the property. Let's say ki ED found out ki this man is some kind of misuse of property is being done. Okay, so it can seize that property under Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Plus, Fugitive Economic Offenders Bill or Fugitive Economic Offenders Act also provides powers to Enforcement Directorate to declare who is a fugitive economic offender. Okay. Plus, Coffee POSA, which also talks about money laundering, also gives powers to Enforcement Directorate. Okay. So that was related to the prelims part of this. Okay. The second body is Financial Intelligence Unit. Financial Intelligence Unit has been the nodal agency. The nodal agency, matlab the core. Since 2004, its task will be receiving, analyzing and disseminating any kind of transaction which is suspicious financial transaction, or it can be cash transaction reporting or suspicious transactions reporting. So any kind of cash transaction which can be suspicious or any other suspicious transactions, all this will be monitored by FIU, and all these transactions, including from those of public as well as private banks, will be tasked upon FIU. Okay. Any transactions which is above 10 lakh in foreign currency, whether it is a direct form of foreign currency or some part converted into Indian currency and then later on converted back to foreign currency, if the net amount is more than 10 lakh and the currency is foreign currency, whether directly or indirectly, it will be monitored by Financial Intelligence Unit. Okay. So, the task differentiating FIU and ED is that ED is having powers from Coffee POSA also, from FEMA also, from Fugitive Economic Offenders Bill also, from PMLA also. But FIU has power in terms of it can check all kind of transactions from public bank as well as private banks. And what kind of transactions it will be? Suspicious financial transactions or cash transactions also, or suspicious transactions also. All of this can be monitored or should be monitored by FIU if the transaction is more than 10 lakh and related to foreign currency. Okay. Now with that we come to the end of this topic. If you have any queries, please do let us know. Thank you so much and all the very best.